Okay, so this isn't actually a dystopia warning. It's more of a thank you, I guess, to all the people that have tuned in to watch my streams over the last month, which has been pretty much the only thing that I've been capable of doing, because I've been in burnout to the point where I considered stopping making content altogether. And stopping what I do online altogether. But I uploaded a video yesterday and your comments have been lovely and affirming, and in my break they've also been lovely and affirming, and I've had people get in touch saying that what I've done in my own ridiculous way has made a difference to them, and that's pretty much all that I've ever wanted to do, so thank you. And I'm trying to say this without sounding like some twatty Oscar award winner. I don't want to thank God. He doesn't exist. And then there's another reason why I'm making this video today, and that's doing something that I don't often do, and that's responding directly to a comment that I've received. Now, I don't do this often because it would be all that I do, and I get so many egregious kind of character assassinations day in, day out. It's difficult to draw a line or find the balance in it, because if you respond you look like a thin-skinned wanker, and if you don't respond you feel like you want to headbutt a wall. However, I thought I would use this one as a launch pad to clear up a few things, because being accused of being a grifter is something that I get every day. Now, the definition of that is someone who engages in petty, small-scale swindling. So yeah, there is an element, I guess, of wanting to defend myself, because I am a human being, believe it or not, and this takes its toll. But then there is also wanting to kind of clear the air on this front. So this is a comment that I received yesterday after posting a link to my Ko-Fi account, in which I let people know that for £3 a month you can read all of the mad shit that I come out with if you want to. FYI, I've always felt really weird about having a Ko-Fi account. Most of the time it just sits in my bio or it's under one of my videos, so if people want to do it, if they want to subscribe for extra content or they want to tip me for what I do, they're welcome to. This is what she said, and I've removed her name. When I read this, I think of all the people who selflessly dedicated themselves to various causes, feeding the poor, working outside canvassing for parties or charities, and some who have even died volunteering during conflicts because they believed in what they were doing. I just want to clear something up here. I have canvassed in the rain and in the cold for the previous leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, and in other elections. I've also volunteered with charities. In fact, when serving Tory MP Brendan Clark-Smith mocked me for being open about my mental health and thanking the Samaritans, which made the national press and led to that dickhead being widely lambasted even by his own party, I set up a fundraiser for the Samaritans, and at the final tally it was over £3,000. That was my response to being targeted and humiliated for being open about my mental health by a serving Tory MP. Not just that, I raised nearly £7,000 for Refuting, a domestic violence charity. I shared my own story of domestic violence, which was very difficult to do, and yeah, people, trolls, even used that against me. I walked 60 miles last September in order to raise that money. I was one of the top 1% Refuting fundraisers, and I had to overcome my own, at the time, pretty crippling agoraphobia, which is one of the side effects of having post-traumatic stress as a consequence of suffering domestic abuse. Then I see this, profiting from doing very little while sitting comfortably at home. People think you're rolling in it. I make probably about minimum wage from doing what I do online, if that, a year. Whereas Nigel Farage makes, what, $1 million a year from about 700 extra jobs, whilst peddling far-right divisive hatred. Wanting to keep the lights on isn't profiting. And I'm standing up for something that I passionately believe in. I wouldn't have put up with what I've put up with over the last 5 years if I didn't care about what I did. Besides which, loads of people have Ko-Fis and Patreons. Virtually every single person you know that is a commentator who talks about politics has one. Do you see the Left Bible? Do you see Novara Media journalists? Do you see Owen Jones, who has a top tier of £100? Do you see them getting rinsed or called a grifter for having a subscription service? No. Does any man face this? No. Whereas I'm accused of being some kind of low budget, fully clothed fucking OnlyFans. Not to mention I write, I research, I record. That takes time and effort and it is work. You might not like it, but that does not mean that it's not effort or labour. And then there's the next line. I've been a communist from the age of 17. She types on an iPhone, having lived under consecutive neoliberal governments. In reality, the only reason I promote my Ko-Fi account is because I have been hacked, doxed and smeared to within an inch of my life, to the point where I lost my paid employment by people that are self-described communists and fucking socialists, despite me being on the left. And then there's also the laughable aspect of so my labour should be free? Solidarity, comrade. And there's the fact that the reality of communism historically, for women and people in general, has been fucking grim. Loads of people have an unrealistic and idealised view of this particular ideology. And I do not say that in favour of capitalism or neoliberalism, which I abhor. I say it because my views, my output, is not limited by pie in the sky ideology. And then she goes on to talk about how she's had friends and family murdered in Northern Ireland for a cause that they believe in, and how watching me moan in the comments about what I deal with for a sympathy vote is galling for her to watch on some level. I don't live in Northern Ireland or in an area of horrific upheaval. If that's happened to you, I am sorry. That's appalling, obviously. But if you think that a woman that has faced 5 years of gang rape threats, death threats, posted through my front door without a stamp, hacking, nuisance calls, my entire online history being dredged up, my ex being threatened with revenge porn, people messaging people that I am dating, asking them about my sexual preferences, people pretending to be my dead grandmother to troll me, sexual harassment for meeting up with male friends, being photoshopped onto porn myself. If you think talking about that as a survivor of domestic abuse and SA is just moaning, you might want to think about whether or not you're a feminist or a progressive. I mean, sure, I could give up the platforms that I, as a working class woman, have built for myself brick by brick over 5 years organically, in order to give myself the voice that society would not let me have otherwise, for which I have paid the price with my mental health and my own well-being. Not because I like being in the spotlight, because I do not. I hate being perceived. My previous job was as a photographer. I'm more comfortable taking pictures of people than being on camera. But even if I did give it all up tomorrow, I've gone viral multiple times to the point that I'm recognised, which I do not like, in my local supermarket, which is a 10-minute walk from my house. The toothpaste is out of the tube. There's no guarantee that it's going away. Plus, I really care about what I do, and I want to use my platforms to stick up not just for other women, but for people of colour, for trans people, for disabled people. And just because I don't live in an area where atrocities are taking place, that doesn't mean that I should be silent in the face of the misogyny that I face, which is a national emergency, which is an epidemic in this country, and which people that call themselves progressives should realise, as they target a woman for having a Ko-Fi whilst remaining silent, as all the men that they revere and agree with also have one. Ultimately, it's really easy to be an armchair critic, isn't it? But once again, I'd like to offer my thanks to all those people that understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, that tune in to watch what I have to say, because it means the absolute world to me. Because all I've ever wanted to do is amplify a progressive message and stand up against the right-wing arseholes that are destroying this country, that are creating division and hatred, and by, in my own small way, offering some kind of resistance to the far right talking points. That's why I do it.